It's been a tough, long year, and nothing's ever clear. But somewhere out in the night, there's a little bit of light.
正义慢慢肆无尽头，逆风之下继续往前走，一起越过所有阻碍，不放弃我们维护现在。Look around the world, we see people are still struggling. Let's come together and walk through side by side.
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care.
What goes around comes around like a hula hoop. Life is சுத்தி சுத்தி கொண்டு போகும் உன்னை தினமும் மழை வரும் முன்னே கொடை இருக்கணும் பக்கம் இருட்டான உலகத்தில் வெளிச்சத்தை நாம் அமைச்சிக்கணும். தனியாக போராட்டம் தேவை இன்று இல்லை நண்பா, தனிமையில் நம் தவிக்க இனிமேல் வேண்டாமட்டா. கவலை வேண்டாம், கை கொடுக்கும் இந்த கூட்டம். Listen, yes we care, take my hands, don't you worry, that's our mission.
Look around
Yeah.
the world, we see
The world.
people are still struggling.
There's no need to suffer, man.
Let's come together and walk through side by
We're
side.
here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. Damaikan hati yang lara, menundi salah, semangat api membara, bawa bersama kemana jua, hadapi dugaan, walau ada halangan apa jua rintangan. We care.
Usah kau gusar, yang suram jangan dikenang. Harus sedia teguh, walau bukan senang. Hari suram pasti bakal cerah teguh bersama siang dan malam. Demi esok, ayo kita lupakan yang semalam. We can make a change.
No, it's not too late.
不分我和你，爱让世界痊愈。We can make a change.
No, it's not too late.
If we show we care, we all will be okay.
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all.
If we take a stand, we all will be okay.
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care.
Together we can
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care.
大家好，我的名字叫做 Jessie， 我来自沙劳越。那么最近我有幸参与了翻来呢这个工作，很高兴透过这个工作能够看到马来西亚的各个种族之间能够团结一致的来面对 COVID 这个问题。那么本身也相信，只要我们继续同心协力，我们必定能一起度过这次这个难关。
the world has changed. Amidst the tough times and the uncertainties, we will continue moving forward. With masks and physical distancing, we stayed close online, uplifting each other's spirit while in the comfort of home. When we are able to go out again, we will continue to embrace the new norms, keep our distance, and protect our friends and colleagues. We are not yet at the finish line, and with frontliners battling for all of us, sacrificing more than we could even imagine, our support becomes vital. We are all in this together. Let's not take it for granted. As long as we persevere and strictly adhere to the SOPs, we can defeat the pandemic together. Let's continue to stand tall in these unprecedented times. All for one, together as anak-anak Malaysia.
It's been a tough, long year, and nothing's ever clear. But somewhere out in the night, there's a little bit of light.
正义慢慢肆无尽头，逆风之下继续往前走，一起越过所有阻碍，不放弃我们维护现在。
Look around the world we see people are still struggling. Let's come together and walk through side by
We're
side.
here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care.
What goes around comes around like a hula hoop. Life is சுத்தி கொண்டு போகும் உன்னை தினமும் மழை வரும் முன்னே கொடை இருக்கணும் பக்கம் இருட்டான உலகத்தில் வெளிச்சத்தை நாம் அமைச்சிக்கணும். தனியாக போராட்டம் தேவை இன்று இல்லை நண்பா, தனிமையில் நம் தவிக்க இனிமேல் வேண்டாமட்டா. கவலை வேண்டாம், கை கொடுக்கும் இந்த கூட்டம். Listen, yes we care, take my hands, don't you worry, that's our
Look
mission.
around
Yeah.
the world we see
The world.
people are still struggling.
There's no need to suffer, man.
Let's come together and walk through side by
Come on.
We're
side.
here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. Damaikan hati yang lara, menundi salah, semangat api membara, bawa bersama. Kemana jua hadapi dugaan, walau ada halangan apa jua rintangan. We care.
Usah kau gusar, yang suram jangan dikenang. Harus sedia teguh walau bukan senang. Hari
suram pasti bakal cerah teguh bersama siang dan malam. Demi esok, ayo kita lupakan yang semalam.
We can make a change.
No, it's not too late.
部分我和你爱让世界痊愈。
We can make a change.
No, it's not too late.
If we show we can, we all will be okay.
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all.
If we take a stand, we all will be okay.
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Let our lives to love. Together we can show we can.
Together we can
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Let our lives to love. Together we can show we can.
大家好，我的名字叫做 Jessie， 我来自沙劳越。那么最近我有幸参与了翻来呢这个工作，很高兴透过这个工作能够看到马来西亚的各个种族之间能够团结一致的来面对 COVID 这个问题。那么本身也相信，只要我们继续同心协力，我们必定能一起度过这次这个难关。
The world has changed. Amidst the tough times and the uncertainties, we will continue moving forward. With masks and physical distancing, we stayed close online, uplifting each other's spirit while in the comfort of home. When we are able to go out again, we will continue to embrace the new norms, keep our distance, and protect our friends and colleagues. We are not yet at the finish line, and with frontliners battling for all of us, sacrificing more than we could even imagine, our support becomes vital. We are all in this together. Let's not take it for granted. As long as we persevere and strictly adhere to the SOPs, we can defeat the pandemic together. Let's continue to stand tall in these unprecedented times. All for one, together, as anak-anak Malaysia.
It's been a tough, long year, and nothing's ever clear. But somewhere out in the night, there's a little bit of light.
正义慢慢肆无尽头，逆风之下继续往前走，一起越过所有阻碍，不放弃我们维护现在。
Look around the world, we see people are still struggling. Let's come together and walk through side by
We're
side.
here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care.
What goes around comes around like a hula hoop. Life சுத்தி சுத்தி கொண்டு போகும் உன்னை தினமும் மழை வரும் முன்னே கொடை இருக்கணும் பக்கம் இருட்டான உலகத்தில் வெளிச்சத்தை நாம் அமைச்சிக்கணும். தனியாக போராட்டம் தேவை இன்று இல்லை நண்பா, தனிமையில் நம் தவிக்க இனிமேல் வேண்டாமட்டா. கவலை வேண்டாம், கை கொடுக்கும் இந்த கூட்டம். Listen, yes we care, take my hands, don't you worry, that's our
Look
mission.
around
Yeah.
the world, we see
The world.
people are still struggling.
Don't need to suffer, man.
Let's come together and walk through side by
Come on.
We're
side.
here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. Damaikan hati yang lara, menundi salah, semangat api membara, bawa bersama kemana jua, hadapi dugaan, walau ada halangan apa jua rintangan. We care.
Usah kau gusar, yang suram jangan dikenang. Harus sedia teguh, walau bukan senang. Hari suram pasti bakal cerah teguh bersama siang dan malam. Demi esok, ayo kita lupakan yang semalam.
We can make a change.
No, it's not too late.
部分我和你爱让世界痊愈。
We can make a change.
No, it's not too late.
If we show we care, we all will be okay.
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all.
If we take a stand, we all will be okay.
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care.
Together we can
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care.
大家好，我的名字叫做 Jessie， 我来自沙劳越。那么最近我有幸参与了翻来呢这个工作，很高兴透过这个工作能够看到马来西亚的各个种族之间能够团结一致的来面对 COVID 这个问题。那么本身也相信，只要我们继续同心协力，我们必定能一起度过这次这个难关。
The world has changed. Amidst the tough times and the uncertainties, we will continue moving forward. With masks and physical distancing, we stayed close online uplifting each other's spirit, while in the comfort of home. When we are able to go out again, we will continue to embrace the new norms, keep our distance, and protect our friends and colleagues. We are not yet at the finish line, and with frontliners battling for all of us, sacrificing more than we could even imagine, our support becomes vital. We are all in this together. Let's not take it for granted. As long as we persevere and strictly adhere to the SOPs, we can defeat the pandemic together. Let's continue to stand tall in these unprecedented times. All for one, together as anak-anak Malaysia.
It's been a tough, long year, and nothing's ever clear. But somewhere out in the night, there's a little bit of light.
正义慢慢肆无尽头，逆风之下继续往前走，一起越过所有阻碍，不放弃我们维护现在。
Look around the world, we see people are still struggling. Let's come together and walk through side by
We're
side.
here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care.
What goes around comes around like a hula hoop. Life is சுத்தி சுத்தி கொண்டு போகும் உன்னை தினமும் மழை வரும் முன்னே கொடை இருக்கணும் பக்கம் இருட்டான உலகத்தில் வெளிச்சத்தை நாம் அமைச்சிக்கணும். தனியாக போராட்டம் தேவை இன்று இல்லை நண்பா, தனிமையில் நம் தவிக்க இனிமேல் வேண்டாமடா. கவலை வேண்டாம், கை கொடுக்கும் இந்த கூட்டம். Listen, yes we care, take my hands, don't you worry, that's our
Look
mission.
around
Yeah.
the world, we see
The world.
people are still struggling.
There's no need to suffer, man.
Let's come together and walk through side by
Come on.
We're
side.
here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. Damaikan hati yang lara, menundi salah, semangat api membara, bawa bersama kemana jua, hadapi dugaan, walau ada halangan, apa jua rintangan. We care.
Usah kau gusar, yang suram jangan dikenang. Harus sedia teguh, walau bukan senang. Hari suram pasti bakal cerah teguh bersama siang dan malam. Demi esok, ayo kita lupakan yang semalam.
We can make a change.
No, it's not too late.
部分我和你爱让世界痊愈。
We can make a change.
No, it's not too late.
If we show we care, we all will be okay.
We're here
大家好，我的名字叫做 Jessie， 我来自沙劳越。那么最近我有幸参与了翻来呢这个工作，很高兴透过这个工作能够看到马来西亚的各个种族之间能够团结一致的来面对 COVID 这个问题。那么本身也相信，只要我们继续同心协力，我们必定能一起度过这次这个难关。
The world has changed. Amidst the tough times and the uncertainties, we will continue moving forward. With masks and physical distancing, we stayed close online, uplifting each other's spirit while in the comfort of home. When we are able to go out again, we will continue to embrace the new norms, keep our distance, and protect our friends and colleagues. We are not yet at the finish line, and with frontliners battling for all of us, sacrificing more than we could even imagine, our support becomes vital. We are all in this together. Let's not take it for granted. As long as we persevere and strictly adhere to the SOPs, we can defeat the pandemic together. Let's continue to stand tall in these unprecedented times. All for one, together, as anak-anak Malaysia.
It's been a tough, long year, and nothing's ever clear. But somewhere out in the night, there's a little bit of light.
正义慢慢肆无尽头，逆风之下继续往前走，一起越过所有阻碍，不放弃我们维护现在。
Look around the world, we see people are still struggling. Let's come together and walk through side by side.
Here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care.
What goes around comes around like a hula hoop. Life சுத்தி சுத்தி கொண்டு போகும் உன்னை தினமும் மழை வரும் முன்னே கொடை இருக்கணும் பக்கம் இருட்டான உலகத்தில் வெளிச்சத்தை நாம் அமைச்சிக்கணும். தனியாக போராட்டம் தேவை இன்று இல்லை நண்பா, தனிமையில் நம் தவிக்க இனிமேல் வேண்டாமட்டா. வேண்டாம் கை கொடுக்கும் இந்த கூட்டம். Listen, yes we care, take my hands, don't you worry, that's our
Look
mission.
around
Yeah.
the world we see
The world.
people are still struggling.
There's no need to suffer, man.
Let's come together and walk
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
side
Yeah.
by
Come on.
We're
side.
here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. Damaikan hati yang lara, mengundi salah, semangat api membara, bawa bersama kemana jua, hadapi dugaan, walau ada halangan apa jua rintangan. We care.
Usah kau gusar, yang suram jangan dikenang. Harus sedia teguh, walau bukan senang. Hari suram pasti bakal cerah teguh bersama siang dan malam. Demi esok, ayo kita lupakan yang semalam.
We can make a change.
No, it's not too late.
不分我和你，爱让世界痊愈。
We can make a change.
No, it's not too late.
If we show we care, we all will be okay.
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all.
If we take a stand, we all will be okay.
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care.
Together we can be
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care.
大家好，我的名字叫做 Jessie， 我来自沙劳越。那么最近我有幸参与了翻来呢这个工作，很高兴透过这个工作能够看到马来西亚的各个种族之间能够团结一致的来面对 COVID 这个问题。那么本身也相信，只要我们继续同心协力，我们必定能一起度过这次这个难关。
The world has changed. Amidst the tough times and the uncertainties, we will continue moving forward. With masks and physical distancing, we stayed close online, uplifting each other's spirit while in the comfort of home. When we are able to go out again, we will continue to embrace the new norms, keep our distance, and protect our friends and colleagues. We are not yet at the finish line, and with frontliners battling for all of us, sacrificing more than we could even imagine, our support becomes vital. We are all in this together. Let's not take it for granted. As long as we persevere and strictly adhere to the SOPs, we can defeat the pandemic together. Let's continue to stand tall in these unprecedented times. All for one, together as anak-anak Malaysia.
Together we can be It's been a tough, long year, and nothing's
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 47th Annual General Meeting of Allianz Malaysia Berhad. I am Goh Ching Yin, an Independent Director of Allianz Malaysia Berhad. The Chairman of the Board, Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Dato' Dr. Rafia Salim, has extended her apology for not being able to join us today as she is on medical leave. Therefore, I will preside over today's meeting. Before we start, I wish to inform that in the event that I am disconnected from the online meeting platform, my fellow board member Yang Amat Mulia, Tunku Zain Al-Abidin Ibni Tuanku Muris, will take over the chair of this meeting. Pursuant to the revised guidance notes and FAQs on the conduct of general meeting for listed issuers issued by the Securities Commission of Malaysia on 1st June 2021, this meeting is conducted fully virtual through an online meeting platform provided by Trico Investor and Issuing House Services Sdn Berhad via its remote participation and voting facilities located in Malaysia. This online meeting platform is recognized as the meeting venue or place under Section 327, Subsection 2 of the Companies Act 2016. I've been advised by the Company Secretary that there is a quorum at the commencement of this meeting. For the purpose of determining a member who shall be entitled to participate at this meeting, the company has obtained the record of depositors from Bursa Malaysia Depositories Sdn Berhad. Based on the record of depositors as at 15th of June 2021, there are 4,674 shareholders holding 177,508,939 ordinary shares of the company. It has been confirmed by the share registrar, Trico Investor and Issuing House Services Sdn Berhad, that there are 110 shareholders representing 13,455,075 ordinary shares of the company, or approximately 0.076, have registered themselves to participate in this meeting this morning. Before we proceed, I would like to introduce the board members who join us remotely today. Please acknowledge yourselves by waving your hands. Mr. Peter Ho Kok Wai, the Chairman of the Audit Committee. Thank you. Yang Amat Mulia Tunku Zain Al-Abidin Ibni Tuanku Muris, the Chairman of the Nomination and Remuneration Committee. Thank you. Mr. Gerard Lim Kim Ming. Thank you, Gerard. Madam Claudia Salem. Thank you, Claudia. And Dr. Muhammad Abdul Khalid, the Chairman of the Risk Management Committee. Thank you, Doc. Mr. Solmaz Altin, our non-independent, non-executive director, has extended his apology for not being able to join us today due to other commitments. I would also like to introduce our management team present at this meeting. First is our Chief Executive Officer of the company and General Insurance Subsidiary, Encik Zakri Muhammad Khail. Thank you, Zakri. Mr. Joseph Kumar Gross. Thank you, Joe. Mr. Charles Ong, the Chief Financial Officer of the company. Thank you, Charles. And Madam Ng Siu Gek, the Company Secretary. Thank you, Siu Gek. At the same time, I would also like to welcome our auditor, Mr. Manjit Singh, the representative from PricewaterhouseCoopers, for participating in this meeting. Thank you, Manjit. The voting at the 47th Annual General Meeting will be conducted on a poll in accordance with paragraph 8.29A of the main market listing requirements of Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad. The company has appointed Trico Investor and Issuing House Services Sdn Berhad as a poll administrator for this meeting. The company has also appointed Mega Corporate Services Sdn Berhad as a scrutineer to verify the poll results. In order to facilitate the online voting process, the shareholders or proxies may proceed to vote on the proposed resolutions as stated in the agenda at any time from the commencement of this meeting and before the end of the voting session, which I will announce it later. Please watch the following video on the procedures of online voting by Trico Investor and Issuing House Services in Berhad now.
Dear shareholders and proxy holders, the steps for you to cast your vote via Tricor's Remote Participation and Voting (IERPV) application are as follows. When you are on the live stream meeting page, click on the Go to Remote Voting Page button below the query box. Read and agree to the terms and conditions and confirm the declaration. Select your CDS account number and click the Vote button. Indicate your voting instructions either for or against or abstain for the resolutions that are tabled for voting and click the Next button. Review your votes casted and click on Confirm to submit. Download the document for remote voting for your record if required. To return to live stream meeting page, click on the live streaming button on the right. Alternatively, if you wish to listen to meeting proceedings while you are submitting your votes, you may click on the Corporate Exercise or Corporate Event button on the left side of the screen and open the link in New Window. Under a new window, select the corporate event for the relevant company, Remote Voting AGM or EGM. Follow the same steps as mentioned earlier on how to cast your votes remotely. Shareholders and proxy holders, kindly be informed that our voting system allows you to vote for all the resolutions at one time. Please ensure that you have completed voting on all the resolutions before you confirm the submission of your votes. Once the chairman announces the end of the voting session, the system will not allow you to submit your votes. Therefore, please ensure you submit your votes timely before the voting session ends. If you have any questions to raise to the Board of Directors, please submit your questions in the query box, which is available on live stream meeting. Thank you.
Shareholders and proxies who are participating remotely in the meeting today may use the query box to transmit your questions during the meeting. We shall answer the questions after all items of the agenda have been presented at this meeting. I now have pleasure in calling the meeting to order. Ladies and gentlemen, the notice calling for this meeting has been distributed to all entitled shareholders on 21st of May 2021. Hence, the notice convening this meeting shall be taken as read. We shall now proceed to the items stated in the agenda. Item 1 of the agenda is for shareholders to receive the audited financial statements for the financial year ended 31st December 2020 and the directors and auditors report thereon in accordance with Section 340, subsection 1A of the Companies Act 2016. The audited financial statements for the financial year ended 31st December 2020 and the directors and auditors report are for discussion only, and it does not require shareholders' approval. Hence, this item will not be put for voting. On this agenda item, I would like to invite Mr. Charles Ong, the Chief Financial Officer of the company, to present to you the financial highlights of the group, followed by the presentation of Encik Zakri, the CEO of the company, as well as the General Insurance subsidiary, and Mr. Joseph Kumar Gross, the CEO of the Life Insurance subsidiary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, all shareholders. I shall start my presentation by giving you an overview of insurance industry. Just to recap, there are 21 general insurance players and 14 life insurers. penetration remains quite low. On the general side, it's only 1.2% of GDP. For life side, it's only 4.8% of GDP. Our industry has been impacted by COVID-19 in 2020 and also this year. Is the general side shrink by about negative 0.6% and the life side was 0.4%. The route to recovery remained quite challenging. We have seen an official number of GDP growth, projected GDP growth of 6 to 7.5%. But I think this is still a very challenging number. Next slide, please. Despite the challenges, Allianz Malaysia delivered a very strong set of financial results for 2020. One of the main things that I want to highlight is, over the years, the group has built up a very strong fundamentals. There are some numbers I want to show you. Total GWP achieved in 2020 was 5.3 billion. It was about 7.8% growth. The profit was 729.6 million, grew by 5.4%. Our basic earning per ordinary share was 2.28, grew by 11.6%. Dividend per ordinary share was 58 cents, but it was dropped by 10.8. I will explain this in the subsequent slides. Total assets of the group is now 21.9 billion, grew by 11.1%. Next slide, please. Allianz Malaysia is very diversified. It's well diversified to deliver a stable business growth in 2020. We grew by GWP in total grew by 7.8%. If you look at the life side, the GWP grew by 8.2% and Allianz General grew by 7.2%. We have two strong pillars of business and we are diversified. We have multi-distribution and multi-line of business. Allianz General is the number one insurance player on the conventional side with a market share of 13.3%. And just now you saw the number. The industry was shrinking by 0.6%. Allianz Life maintained a top 5 position with 7.7% of market share. Remember, industry was shrinking by negative 0.4%. I'll go to next slide, please. In 2010, Allianz Malaysia delivered a record profit. I mean, what you can see here is the business shows the resilience. Total profit, it was actually a record high of 730 million over the last 5 years, grew by 5.4%. The life side dropped by about 12.6%. I will explain that in our better analysis on the life profit later on. On the general side, grew by 23%. One of the main things that we want to tell you is we built this resilience because the group focused on strong discipline in pricing and prudence expense management. For life business, we always continue to make sure that we sell a healthy mix of portfolio with a good and sustainable margin. One of the numbers I want to show you on the life side is the life deliver a new business value of 239 million last year. Let's go to the next page, please. I want to show you a more detailed analysis for you to understand a bit better on the group profit. The total profit I've shown you of 730 million grew by 5.4%, which is on the left chart. The general insurance delivered a 70 million. And one of the key things I want to highlight was it was the fair value on the tax and the tax impact. Altogether is about 29 million drop. Okay, this is mainly due to the interest rate movement. Okay, so one of the key thing is we have a fair value gain in 2020, but 2019 we have a higher fair value gain. But I want to show you is if we actually take out this fair value gain and look at the core profit of the group, the life side actually delivered 270 million and the general side delivered 432 million, altogether 691 million, which is 10.7% growth. Let's go to the next slide, please. This slide will show us Allianz Malaysia 3-year solid track records. Look at a few numbers I want to point out. Top line for the last 3 years. In 2017, the GWP was only 4.28 billion. In 2020, we managed to grow it to 5.3 billion. That actually gives us an average CAGR growth of 7.4%. On average, we grew by 7.4% over the last 3 years. And you can see the expense ratio. On the non-life side, we have actually brought the expense ratio down from 20.3% in 2017 to 19.8% in 2020. And the life side as well, we have actually brought down the expense ratio from 12.1% to 9.4%. I mean, one of the key things that I want to mention here is the group continued to invest on digital initiative. This is to improve the efficiency, to improve the connectivity with our distributors, is make them easier for them to sell. Simplification. And if you look at the profit, the total profit grew from 437 million in 2017 to 729 million in 2020. That's on average 18.6% growth. And total asset has also grew from 16B to 21B. And dividend, this is one of the key number I want to show you. The total dollar of dividend that we have paid out grew from 2017 was 45 million and 2020 it was 220 million. That is 69% growth. I want to move on to the next slide, please. We will continue to focus on delivering and maintain a strong shareholders' dividend return. In 2019, we declared a special dividend. And 2020, we continue to deliver a strong dividend of 69.6 cents and 58 cents for ICPS and ordinary share, respectively. What does that translate to? That is actually a dividend yield of 4.3%, a total payout ratio around 42.4%. And I also want to explain, our dividend policy is a minimum payout ratio of 30%, but is subject to meeting a regulatory capital requirement. The group's dividend is dependent on the dividend declared by the subsidiaries, and the insurance subsidiaries will have to meet all the regulatory requirements and obtain their approval so that they can declare to the group company. Of course, one of the key things is we will always make sure that we set aside sufficient capital to finance any new business growth or expansion. That's all from my side, and I would like to now pass to Encik Zakri to take you through the general insurance analysis.
Yeah, thank you, Charles, and good morning, everybody. Allow me to basically give the shareholders an overview of the performance of the general business vis-a-vis Allianz General. So, in 2020, we actually grew about 7.2%. Now, if you compare that to 2019, where we grew 3.6%, and if we use that year as a bit of a constant, so it's been quite a significant achievement. We also have seen an improvement in terms of our combined ratio, which is 88.4 compared to 91% in 2019. That is basically driven by the fact that motor claims have come down quite significantly because during the lockdowns throughout the year in 2020, less cars on the road, less cars means less accidents, and then hence a better loss ratio in motor. Overall, 2020 was surprisingly, despite the difficult times as a result of the COVID pandemic, we grew in our market share. We are now 3.3%, which is our highest ever market share that we've attained all these particular years. We are still number one with a significant improvement in our market share. Okay, next slide. So if we examine here, you can see since 2015 the progression of our premiums, and you will see that 2020 actually we've done a lot better than in the years prior to that. Although prior to that there was no pandemic. I think the reason for this is, with the theory from my side, is in difficult times, customers tend to run to better companies. So in the case in 2020, we saw a lot of customers coming to us. Perhaps the trust to quality, or the flight to quality, is something that is, the theory is a reality, and we actually saw that in 2020. Also, one cannot negate the fact that our signing of Post Malaysia as a distribution partner also played a very important, pivotal role in actually the growth in 2020. So, as you can see, distribution-wise, we're still very much an agency-based company, about 55%, but supported by very strong distribution. The next largest distribution is franchise, which is the car dealers and Post Malaysia. In terms of portfolio, Motor is still the largest portfolio, and it will continue to be, specifically in these difficult times, because you don't see many new factories. In fact, you see more factories closing down. People not really buying individual insurance like PA and stuff like that. So what they have to buy will be compulsory, and that is motor insurance. And that is why Motor is the largest segment of the pie. Next slide. Yeah, so now we come to the profit slide. 2020 was a good year. Uniquely enough, as you obviously know, it was a year where the COVID pandemic hit us very hard. But despite that, we had a very good showing in terms of profit. We recorded 432 million ringgit in 2020 versus 362 in 2019, i.e. a 19.2% increase in profit. Obviously, as our shareholder, I think you'll be very happy with this, because it shows that the company is doing well, and obviously more profits would translate into dividends. However, as shareholders, I must also say that it's not always that not every part of society or community will appreciate that insurance companies make profits. Especially in our case, we're making profit in a very difficult time, which is at the height of the COVID pandemic. Let me assure you that whatever profits that we have made is made in a very fair and transparent manner. Whatever obligations that we have had in respect to our policyholders, we have taken that into consideration. We have done our best for policyholders, giving them the best possible service in terms of claims and whatever assistance. So the profit you see here today is basically after that. We're not shy of this profit. It also says that we are a good company, and in difficult situations, like in what we experienced last year, and we are also experiencing now, we're still able to deliver a decent profit to our shareholders. Next slide. Again, I think I spoke about it just now. The combined ratio is basically due to lower claims ratio, principally coming from motor. We've had a couple of large fire claims. Some may ask why fire claims. You see, during the MCO, many of the factories, although they start, stop, open, close, and they are guilty of basically lack of maintenance. So some of them do not maintain the machines properly. So when it starts up again, there could be friction and it causes short circuiting, and then which then causes fire. So we see that a lot happening. But it's very typical of downtimes in economic downtimes where these types of claims will happen. But we have benefited largely from the good experience in motor. So as you can see, in 2020, again, is one of the record combined ratios, 88.4%. Yeah. Next slide. Yes, so I think this is something we speak every year to our shareholders. So we are not a static company. We think and we look forward. So this is the strategy that we would like to have for the next 3 to 5 years. Again, focusing on what we do as an insurance company, and which is giving what is best for customers. So customer centricity, looking to grow the business, i.e. the growth engines, be technically superior, technical excellence. That means our pricing has to be fair, equitable, yet having margins so that we're an ongoing concern. We will leverage a lot more on digital because that's the way you do business now. You cannot do the analog world, and the manual world is over. We have to think digitally. And of course, we have to constantly look at our people and believe in them and motivate them and promote them. That's inclusive meritocracy. So all that we take over a span of 3 to 5 years, where the objective is to outperform the market. The objective is to transform ourselves from not just to being just an insurance company, but to be a very digitally and analytically driven organization. And of course, constantly rebalancing where we think it needs to be rebalanced. Okay, and the rest of the stuff that you see in the middle, like expanding distribution capabilities, underwriting excellence, automation, optimizing customer value, pricing excellence, data analytics, are just the aspects in which we will be looking at to carry us in our strategy for 3 to 5 years from now. So it is important, I think, as shareholders to know that we're not just thinking about today, but we're thinking about tomorrow. Next slide. Oh yeah, I'm done. Thank you. So good. Now I will hand over to my colleague, Joseph Ross, to basically brief you about the life business. Thank you.
And I'd like to report about the life business in 2020. 2020 has been a very rough year for the life business. The adverse market conditions with COVID have had a significant impact on the life business. But despite all the ups and downs and the challenges we faced and continue to face with COVID, the life business just showed its resilience once again in 2020. So Allianz Life performed well, solid, in a very deep crisis situation here in Malaysia. Let me lead you through the first business results. What we have here is the gross written premium, the GWP, and you will see from 2019 to 2020, we were able to achieve an 8% plus growth on GWP. GWP is basically the in-force business that we have, which is the whole customer base. And achieving growth on the whole customer base on the in-force is very, very healthy, because it just shows how resilient our portfolio is. We had low churn rates, persistency held up very well. So we didn't have many customers canceling or surrendering their policies, which just speaks to the quality of our book. And if you look at the underlying structure of our GWP, most of it is very healthy recurring premium, and we've got single premium, which of course is primarily via our bancassurance channel with HSBC. If I look at the new business, of course, you will see the impact of COVID. So here what we see is the annualized new premium, or ANP, from 2019 to 2020. And because of the COVID crisis, we experienced a minus 10 to 10.6% on the overall ANP. From the portfolio of our channels, the biggest channel, of course, remains our agency channel. Then we have the alternative distribution and bancassurance, primarily HSBC. And then we've got the corporate business contributing about 5.2% of our business on the new business side. And as I said, COVID impact with the MCOs, the lockdowns, our life insurance agents could not reach out and meet the customers, which is the traditional approach to service our customers, has had quite a severe impact with over minus 10%. And also consequently on the new business, we lost a little bit of market share here in Malaysia in 2020. But I'm happy to say that we were able to hold our market ranking of number 5 in the market here in Malaysia. As I had alluded to, the agency channel, which is our flagship, suffered quite badly in COVID. We had a minus 12.6% on annualized new premiums. The portfolio mix continues to be very, very strong related to investment linked. If you look by policy count, about 76% of our business remains on investment linked. In 2020, we did see a little bit of a shift also in customer demand, asking for traditional or more savings-related products. Therefore, you will see that the traditional grew in importance in 2020 in our total portfolio. But fundamentally, we continue to be committed to our strategy of being an investment-linked company, which is very, very capital efficient and is in the best interests of our shareholders. Now, on the more positive side, I think, is the resilience of our profitability. So what this chart shows you is the profit before tax. First of all, we've mapped over since 2015 till 2020, what has the CAGR been, or the compound annual growth rate. That's the number in the green bubble. It's been plus 21.4%. So Allianz Life Insurance has always been strongly contributing towards profit before tax. And in 2019 to 2020, for the given reasons, we had a small depreciation in profitability. Overall, it looks like a minus 9.4% drop in profitability from 341 million to 309 million. But you will see coded in orange, basically the majority of this drop of 9.4% is driven by fair value gains, or in this case losses, and tax impacts, which means this is not related to the core insurance profitability, which is literally our underwriting discipline, our investment discipline. Because there, if you look at the blue bar, in 2020, we were able to hold up our profitability versus 2019. And you see 2019 was already a record year with a huge jump versus 2018. So that's what I meant when I talked about the resilience of our company. Even in very, very tough market situations, we were able to secure and hold our profitability at a very, very high level of 270 million ringgit. The new business value that we generated, which is the future profitability, was also strong at 239 or 240 million in new business value. So this was the review of our business in 2020. Of course, 2020 and COVID also leads to major changes or adaptations and acceleration in our business strategy. And I just like to highlight 2 items out of that moving ahead. The first is we will continue to drive the transformation that we have been undergoing over the last couple of years. It's clearly that we have to drive simple and optimized processes. We continue to be too complex, and we will work on that. We need to work much more on real-time decisions and communication, no touch, instant rule-based processing, and paperless. These are the foundations that we need anyway as a company and have been working on. And in this new normal of COVID, when face-to-face might not be possible or on and off possible, and the customer needs of interactions might change, these fundamental principles will be absolutely critical for our future success. For the customer, enabling them quick paperless settlement and receivement of claims, and on the communication, their policies, and also their ability to connect with us online, offline, and in hybrid models. The same applies for agents, digitalizing the agent experience and enabling them to reach out and to service their clients real-time, online, and or offline. And from our perspective, of course, what will that result is reduced operational costs. It will increase the productivity internally and with our distribution partners, and ultimately it will lead to a much better customer experience and agent experience, which will also relate into a stickiness and satisfaction. These are the fundamentals of the business transformation. They are not new in 2020. We've been on that pathway for the last couple of years, and 2020 has just shown us that we were on the right way and that we need to double up our efforts and accelerate them. I would like to close talking about the WeCare community that we built in 2020. Starting last year, we started creating a healthcare community for the Malaysian market. As of today, we've signed up more or less 860 to 880 million Malaysians, non-customers and customers from the general insurance and from the life insurance. And we provide COVID-related topics, but also more than that, we provide, or our ambition is to create a community that is really centered around healthcare, be it online doctor teleconsultation, be it e-pharmacies, be it physiotherapy online, be it also the very important topic of mental health wellness and how can we advise clients, etc. We will also be further enhancing this community related to vaccinations, vaccine advice and support, because our vision or our mission is to become long-term a healthcare ecosystem that really provides all of our customers end-to-end healthcare solutions, so that really we create something very, very new in the Malaysian market as a new healthcare ecosystem for Allianz Malaysia. And we're also, of course, this is a digital community for the given reasons of COVID, and because that is just how our customers and clients communicate. So we will be enhancing and growing all of our capabilities on the digital side of reaching out to the customers, be it on the personal computer, be it on the iPad, or be it on mobile first, as I had expected and I have discussed. With that, I would like to close on the Allianz Life Malaysia review of the business in 2020, and I'd like to hand back to Mr. Goh. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you, gentlemen, for the presentation. Before we proceed to the question and answer session, I would like to draw your attention to the remaining items of today's agenda. Item 2 of the agenda is to approve the payment of directors' fees and directors' benefits to non-executive directors of the company and its insurance subsidiaries, excluding nominee directors of Allianz SE. Item 2A of the agenda is in relation to the payment of directors' fees for the company and its insurance subsidiaries, excluding nominee directors of Allianz SE, amounting to 1,868,976 ringgit for the financial year ended 31st December 2020. Item 2B of the agenda is to approve the payment of directors' fees, details as projected on the screen, to the non-executive directors of the company and its insurance subsidiaries, excluding the nominee directors of Allianz SE, effective 1st January 2021 until the next annual general meeting of the company, and to be made on a monthly basis. Item 2C of the agenda is to approve the payment of directors' benefits to the non-executive directors of the company and its insurance subsidiaries, excluding the nominee directors of Allianz SE, up to an amount of 1,263,500 ringgit from 24th June 2021 until the next annual general meeting of the company. Item 3 of the agenda is to consider the re-election of Mr. Solmaz Altin, who retires by rotation in accordance with clause 19.1 of the Constitution of the company and being eligible offers himself for re-election. Item 4 of the agenda, which is to re-elect directors who retire in accordance with clause 19.7 of the Constitution of the company. Item 4A of the agenda is to consider my re-election as director pursuant to clause 19.7 of the Constitution of the company and being eligible offers myself for re-election. Item 4B of the agenda is to consider the re-election of Mr. Gerard Lim Kim Ming, who retires pursuant to clause 19.7 of the Constitution of the company and being eligible offers himself for re-election. Item 5 of the agenda is to reappoint Messrs. PricewaterhouseCoopers, PLT, as the auditors of the company for the financial year ending 31st December 2021 and to authorize the directors to fix their remuneration. Items 6 and 7 of the agenda are to transact special business. Item 6 of the agenda is in relation to the proposed shareholders' mandate for recurrent related party transactions with Allianz SE Group. For item 7 of the agenda, it is in relation to the proposed shareholders' mandate for recurrent related party transactions with Rapid Pro Consulting Sdn Berhad. Item 8 of the agenda is to transact any other business for which due notice shall have been given. I have been advised that we have not received any notice of other business to be transacted at today's meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, since there is no other business to be transacted, we shall now proceed to answer the questions received from shareholders and proxies. I would like to invite the CEOs, the CFO, and the company secretary to take through the question and answer session. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, we have the first question. Okay. Thank you for that proposition, and we will certainly consider that for our future general meetings. Thank you.
I'll take this question, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, it's regarding our interest rate. Yeah, thank you. In actual fact, the increasing interest rate is actually good for our business. Yeah, we can actually offer a better return to our customer, especially on our saving business. Yeah, but it has a short-term impact. When the interest rate increase, I have to mark my market value of my fixed income. So for some of the funds, the shareholders portion of the money, I have to actually mark it down. Yeah, so it's a short term, but overall on the long term basis, increasing interest rate, higher interest rate is actually good for the business. Yeah, but you may recall in 2019 and 2020, we actually have a big fair value gain. Altogether, there was about 100 millions of fair value gains we had actually marked through our books. So, but there was a reversal in 2021 first quarter, as you pointed out in your question. There was a reversal of the interest rate. Yeah, it has actually started to rebound. Yeah, so therefore there is a fair value loss in first quarter. Remember in my presentation just now, I have actually shown you in our slide. Look at the total profit, and also I guide you to look into our core profit. Yeah. So core profit, I actually take out the fair value gain and the fair value loss. Yeah. So that is actually one of the key things that you look at. So our core profit remained very strong, even in the first quarter. I'll move on to the next question, please. Okay, I'll take this question. It's regarding our investment-linked business. Yeah, as what Joe has actually shared with you just now, 2020 was a impact. We have been impacted by this COVID in 2020. We sell our protection business on an investment-linked platform. Yeah, so our investment-linked products typically sell with a lot of protection riders. It actually gives us quite a good margin. But in 2020, we saw that it has actually come down. Saving business remained doing quite well. Agent was actually facing a lot of restriction, and they cannot conduct their business face to face. That has actually impacted us quite a lot. Yeah. So this lockdown, this MCO thing has actually doesn't help us. Yeah. Our focus remains on selling investment-linked protection business on the longer term. So we still want to see that we can actually bring it up to 70-75%. Our portfolio, agency portfolio, are selling investment-linked protection business. Then we move on to the next question, please. Yeah, this is actually the rates that we use. Yeah, we have actually revised upward our projection for our bank assurance business with HSBC. We see there's a lot of potential for growth. We have actually think that there is a good opportunity that we can actually scale out the business, and therefore we actually project that it may actually grow for about 16.1%. That was in our annual reports. But we are very mindful, as I shared with you just now in my presentation, the route to recovery remain very challenging. Yeah, so we hope that we can actually resume, and the banks can actually resume full operations, and then there is a lot of potential in the HSBC business. Okay, next please. Yeah, I think this is on our IFRS 17. I want to report that our implementation plan is actually on track. Okay, we provide regular updates to the board and also to Bank Negara. Bank Negara requires us to provide a regular quarterly updates. Yeah, we are validating our numbers now, and we will definitely share with you in due course. Okay, when we are ready, because we have to go through all this implementation. When it comes closer to 2023, that will be the time that we will start to share with you. Yeah. Overall summary about 17 impact, especially is on the life business, because life is a long-term business. Yeah. We will see that there are changes to our balance sheet. There will changes to our retained earning, and there will be changes to our profit emergence. But the total profits over the years compared to the current basis and this 17 basis, total over the time is actually the same, but it's how it emerge, it will be different. Yeah. So this is actually, I can share with you for the time being. Next slide. This question is regarding our dividend. I want to thank you for acknowledging that we have actually strengthened our dividend payout since 2018. Yeah. As in my slide just now, I actually has actually said that we will continue to maintain our dividend minimum payout dividend policy or minimum payout ratio of 30%. But that is subject to regulator, which I shared with you just now. We will, in our dividend plan, we actually look into our future capital requirement. Okay, especially for organic growth, for expansion. If there's any good distribution tied up, we'll continue to look at that. Yeah, yeah, that will be something I'll share with you. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, I will say that the group will continue to look for opportunities for both business. I think the life and also the general side. If there's any opportunity arises, we will come to seek for shareholders' approval and if there's any funding that is required. Yeah. So if it's any good proposal, we will come and seek your approval. Next, please. I will pass on to Zachary now, please. Yeah.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you. Okay. So this is a question regarding the MyCC issue. I think we've made various statements, so I'll just recap some of them. There was a decision against PIAM and 22 General Insurance Company in respect to industry-wide arrangement of insurers and workshops. Ajik specifically, there was a financial penalty imposed on us by MyCC, 18.5 million. So what have we done? We've taken a two-pronged approach. First of all, we are filing an appeal against this particular decision in the MyCC competitions, the Competition Appeal Tribunal, as well as we've gone to the High Court to get a particular judicial review and a stay application. So we've been granted an interim stay at the High Court and also at the Appeals Tribunal as well. So that is the current status at this present moment. So we don't have to make any payments. We have provided for the money, but we are not making any payments because we believe that this particular ruling is unjust and is wrong, and that's why we intend to pursue and defend ourselves, and to the point that we believe that this penalty should not be imposed on us. Okay, the next part of the question is about workshops. Yes, last year we went into a major revamp of all our workshops. There was a lot of noise from association of workshops wanting to boycott us, blah, 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 all this kind of thing. You know, shareholders don't always believe what you read. We do that because workshops are a group of people who do not operate like normal segments of civil society. They utilize their position to actually leverage and make a lot of money, unnecessarily so, from motor claims. So when someone like Allianz comes to basically rattle them, or really basically to challenge their current status quo, they obviously feel threatened. Okay? So there was a lot of noise. Nevertheless, it's all over. Those who made noise have come back to appeal to be on our panel. So and that has happened. There was no drop in any customer service. Customers were not turned away, and basically we won the battle with the workshops. And now the workshops under our panel are subject to very strict guidelines in respect to customer service, cost of repair. We also have insisted that all our panel workshops, in event of a repair, give a 2-year warranty for customers for the parts and labor. So it's something quite unique, not offered by any other competitor at this present moment. We have moved away from the the PIAM system already, because that was basically a cartel. In fact, we moved away even before the MyCC decision already. So we have our own panel workshop. They subscribe to very stringent guidelines in terms of turnaround and customer service. Okay. The next question is about Banca. Yes, Banca, well, life has never been the same after we lost CIMB, and that's a fact. CIMB is a much bigger bank than Standard Chartered. So the amount of business that we receive from Standard Chartered is probably only like 25% of what CIMB, basically because Standard Chartered is not a very big bank. So the amount of business that we get from Banca is reducing. Also because the general insurance Banca market is not really growing. And I think the jury is out whether or not it is still sustainable to actually continue with large banca agreement on the general insurance side. And because there is less banking activity when it comes to housing loans, there's a lot less retail loans and stuff like that. So this will impact a general insurance banca agreement. And we are also like every other bank, every other bank partnership, we are also similarly affected. But it's still profitable, so it's still worthy of attention, but it's no longer a significant contributor like the days when we had CIMB. Next question, please. This is a question relating to franchise. Yes, so our franchise division is basically the second largest contributor to the premiums after agencies, about 29%. And franchise for us is about car dealers, car manufacturers, as well as Post Malaysia. So this is a very important channel for us. It's been growing year on year. Just to give you an indication, so we have a market share in the new car market. New car, that means every day when cars get registered, a 35% market share. So out of 1,000 cars that are bought a day or when you get registered a day, about 35% of these cars are insured with Allianz. And that's because of the dealers and the auto manufacturers, Mercedes, BMW, Honda, Toyota, you name it. Most of them are basically our particular partners. And obviously, at the end of 2019, we secured a very significant milestone by the partnership with Post Malaysia, and that has been doing very, very well. Okay, next question. I think, yeah, I answered this just now. It's regarding SCB, some of it anyway. Yes, we paid some money. You don't do banca deals without paying some money. We did that, no question about that. We didn't pay a hell of money, but we paid money. They contributed something like, for last year, around 27 million in terms of premiums, SCB. And it's profitable because primarily it's a home, we insure the mortgage book. So the loss ratios of home insurance is very, very profitable. So despite it being smaller than CIMB, it is still a very profitable book. Okay. We're trying to do many other things with SCB, like cross-selling, but these things take time, and we will then have to see how we can sell via the characteristics of a bank. But each bank has a particular character. Some are retail, some are commercial, and stuff like that. So in SCB, we're still trying to understand where they are going, and hopefully we can then also leverage on, or rather ride on where they feel that they should be growing. Okay. The next question is on. Next question is Post Malaysia. Yeah. We can't tell you how long the partnership is, but it's good. It gives us the duration of the partnership is certainly something that you can do stuff with it. You can make great products. You can also see that the products will benefit us, and we think we can derive a lot of margin from this particular partnership. As it stands now, Post Malaysia contributes 7% to our total GWP, which is gross written premium, which is significant and is growing. It is larger than Standard Chartered Post Malaysia because it's a much bigger book. However, the difference is Post Malaysia is currently more motor, and Standard Chartered is more homeowners insurance. We are at this present moment already trying to expand the Post Malaysia book into other personal retail type insurances, non-motor, and I think perhaps next year we will be able to report to shareholders the progress of that. But it's certainly a very, very profitable partnership that we have with Malaysia. Next slide. Okay. This is the question in respect to a statement which we made in our annual report that pandemic risks belongs pandemic risk belongs to the sovereign nation and not commercial insurers. Okay, one can speak about this in a particular seminar and can debate about this, but this is what we, Allianz, believe in. Commercial insurance is designed to cover the risk of the man on the street, like your insurance, if you get cholera, dengue, you get cancer, stuff like that. And that's what we do. So we sell your policy and you buy a policy for that. Risk like pandemic risk, like for example COVID-19, is outside this particular scope, and that's why we have an exclusion. The reason for that is because we cannot control, we are not designed to be able to manage this particular type of risk. And this is where it is the responsibility of the government, the sovereign. So it is a sovereign risk. You know, we pay taxes to our government, and part of the taxes is also for protection and also to deal with things like this. Yeah? One more example, for example, is like some countries, no commercial insurer will give you earthquake because in some countries earthquake is very rampant. It's a common thing, and that's a risk that the government takes because it becomes a sovereign risk. So in our context in Malaysia and many parts of the world, pandemic exclusion in health insurance is a universal exclusion. Now, having said that, we don't just simply tell the customer, I'm sorry, you are not covered by COVID. There are instances where we do offer protection. For example, if a customer is landed in hospital for whatever illness and then contracts COVID at that particular time, that we will basically assist the customer. We're not going to say the customer no, right? We will definitely help the customer in particular. So, but the normal pandemic stuff that you see on a daily basis and stuff like that, no, that is not covered. However, on a case-to-case basis, we have assisted many customers with dealing with the COVID crisis, although their policy, although it's an exclusion in the policy. You know. So these are things that we do as a responsible insurance company. But I think shareholders need to understand that if insurance companies, a commercial insurance company is asked to cover pandemic risk, then we would basically run out of money. And it would be quite detrimental to the economy because we will have to have cash in on our bonds and stuff like that just to pay for this particular type of claims. And you won't see us around very, very long after a pandemic if we are asked to cover such risks. Okay. One more question. Yeah. Oh, prospects. First of all, I think we're going to be around because we're a strong company. In what shape or in what form? Basically, we're an insurance company. We will always, evolve into trying to provide a cover for risks that people face. The risks are evolving. A lot of headwinds. Investment returns are low, unemployment, people basically don't have money to buy insurance. All these things will be present for the next 2 to 3 years. I think our competitors as well will have the same challenges. In respect to how are we going to deal with it is by trying to be better than anybody else, trying to be more transparent, giving our customers value, keeping our costs low. These are the things that we do. There is no silver bullet, shareholders. We are not here to spin you a story that, oh, we're going to do this, and magically something is going to happen. It's just going to be a lot of hard work for both the life and general company, and that's what we're going to do. And we are quite confident that, not quite, we are confident that we should be around in the next couple of years, still doing well, and hopefully being able to deliver you good dividends. And this is basically what we want to do. Okay, I think, yeah, I'm done. So over to you, Joe.
Yeah, thanks, Zachary. Just maybe briefly on the life insurance side, so just building on what Zachary said, equally obviously, I mean, competition is always fierce. We thrive on competition, so that's fine. I think our strategy on the general and the life side have shown that we can grow in a market, even in adverse market environments and even with high competition. So I think we're cautiously optimistic that we can continue growth. We are definitely very confident that our strategies and capabilities will enable us to continue to succeed and grow in the marketplace on the life and on the general side. If I could take the next question, please. Yes, have we seen a rise in claims for COVID-19 from private hospital admissions? Now, the fact is actually that the absolute number of COVID admissions into private hospitals has not been that high. So primary treatments are still in the public hospitals. What we have seen in our books is that the cost of treatment is, of course, increasing because of the COVID pandemic, because of the SOPs, because of PPE. Admissions and hospital costs, we will see a claim cost inflation, just purely because COVID creates necessary additional measures of precaution and additional equipment. So take the next question, please. Yes, so I had alluded to that in my presentation on the business. COVID hit us. So yes, definitely, but we're coming back. So the new business was impacted. I had given the reasons for that. Our in-force business is very, very strong. So that gives us a lot of reassurance on the resilience. But I think importantly also on the new business, the last quarter of 2020 saw us coming back. And the Q1 2021, though we don't report it, has been a record quarter in 2021. So we had a very, very strong recovery in January, February, March 21. Then sadly, of course, now in June with the full MCO again in place, it's a little bit of a yo-yo. But if you look at the long-term trend of the life business, I think we were able to show you that we have a track record of continuous growth, irrespective if some quarters go up or down, and we're confident that we'll continue on that growth trajectory. So take the next question, please. Yes, so indeed, when I joined the company in 2015, we had 10,000 agents and we're down to 4,400 agents now. That was not a coincidence. That was an absolute strategic choice where we made a decision as a company. We don't want to have the most agents. We want to have the best agents. Therefore, we have been curbing out and selecting out of the 10,100, really looking at the agents who have and fulfill the highest quality standards in terms of customer service, persistency, productivity, etc. And therefore, now the question is in 2020, we have about 4,500 agents in 2020. The second part of the question is the agency transformation program completed? The answer is transformation is never completed in today's world. When you've just completed your first phase, you start with the next phase. And I think COVID quite clearly shows us that the world is ever changing. So we will continue to transform and improve our agency model. The key pillars of the agency transformation is, again, we want to have the best quality agents. We want to have super digitalized agents towards the company and towards the customer. And have the achievements been measured against original targets? We've achieved all of our first intermediate targets, as I had alluded to, in terms of productivity, number of complaints, persistency rates, etc., average cases per agency. Our agents don't need to hide behind any other agency force here in Malaysia. But as a journey is a journey, it will continue. And now we move even to accelerate the whole digitalization, and one key priority in the new normal will be to allow our agents now to reach out, service, and sell to our clients in a remote environment, because we're confident that this will be the new future, where we have hybrid sales models of face-to-face, but also face to online, etc. And we're going to enable our agents to thrive in this environment. Next question, please. This is an interesting one about the concentration of our top eight in our top agency channel, and is there a dependency? It's a very, very strategic question. I'd like to answer it the following way. So first of all, on the numbers, about the top 10 agents of ours, the big ones, they contribute about to 40 to 50% of the new business. But also in terms of manpower, they give or take somewhere in the range of about 40% of total manpower. Now, dependence on star agencies, I see this slightly differently. Our relationship with agencies is built on a mutually beneficial relationship, okay, with a couple of pillars. Number one is it's built on success and growth. So we have been providing growth and success to our agency forces, and therefore they can rely on us as a partner, and vice versa, they give us the success and the growth. So this is one pillar that I think is unshakable, that bonds us with our agents in a mutually beneficial relationship. The second one also is that we support our agents in best interest. What do we do specifically? Number one, high intensity, high touch support of our agents via our relationship managers in the sales force, but also within the whole company. The live company is really geared up to support our distributors and support our customers. So it's not just sales supporting agents, but it's also the underwriting team, the digital team, the pricing team, myself, etc. So it's end to end in the company, very good support. Second is, as I had said, digitalization. We strive, and our ambition is to give our agents the best tools so that they can deal with us digitally with no hassle, no frill. And equally, we give them the best sales platform so that they can deal with their customers in a digital way. And I think these two elements really build at the key pillars of what I would call an emotional bond built on trust. Because there's one thing that we always tell our agents is promise is a promise. We deliver to you and you deliver to us. So I do not see this dependency really as a major issue. And it doesn't matter whether it's big agents or small agents. We treat all of our agents in that same mutually beneficial approach. Next question, please. Yeah, so, I think this is alluding to the need to work into a more agile operating model. Well, agile has many aspects. I like to tackle that question less from inside out. What do we want to do differently by working differently together? Yes, of course, we need to do that, and we will do that. I think the question is more targeted into, where are the value pools in the future? And I think for the general and on the life side, the name of the game is customer access. So, of course, we have the traditional approach of customer access via our agencies and our banker channels. But as the world evolves, we need to look into new customer access, new customer segments. So post Malaysia on the general, I think, was a huge success. On the life side also, we hope to tap into customer pools. We want to build many more digital partnerships like the general business has built so that we reach out to customers in new, unthought of ways. And then also the WeCare community that we had alluded to is one way of accessing customers in a new way and non-customers in a new way and capturing new value pools. So that's what I would talk about, an alternative, more agile operating model of customer access. Next question, please. Yes, the WeCare community program. First of all, I want to correct, when I was leading you through the business results, I misspoke, and I had talked about 880 million customers on the WeCare platform. I wish. It's 880,000 customers and non-customers, so community members. Sorry for that mistake. I was too excited about the number of customers there. So we achieved the more or less 880 to 900,000 participants in just 1 year. So overall, we perceive this to be a huge success. It's almost twice the target that we had set ourselves after 12 months. And I just want to re-emphasize what is the WeCare community. Our ambition is to create an ecosystem that really provides Malaysians here meaningful and helpful and pragmatic help when they have healthcare needs, be it telemedicine, telepharmacy, mental health disorder, etc., etc. So many aspects that go far beyond COVID only. Now, of course, within the community, we have certain COVID, to take the pinch out of COVID and provide a little bit of reassurance to the people in the WeCare program. So overall, we have invested 3 million ringgit to date into that, where we've been able to pay out and help customers and the participants in the WeCare community. And then in terms of cross-sell products, no, it's not the primary objective in the first phase of WeCare. It will come. But as I told you, one objective is to create this platform to bond with our customers, to build a brand relationship in a very unthought of way. Second is, because of that, to create promoters of the brand in our company. And the third is also, yes, it is to say, how can we activate the community? The activation numbers are very positive, far beyond any normal community that you would see. And also what we see is that Friends of Allianz, so referrals into the sales force for people who want to start becoming ambassadors for the company and selling products for us and referring products to us, is very, very high in the WeCare community. So more to be coming, I guess, in the next 2 months and years. But I think we're off to a fantastic start in the WeCare community. Next question, please. Yes, HSBC. So I'll tackle the first question with the numbers. So in 2020, HSBC contributed 20.1% of our new business in 2020. Do we expect a major disruption of the business by the announced branch closures? No. HSBC has disclosed the details of what and which and where branches are supposed to be closed. Those are primarily smaller scale branches which are not impacted or not going to heavily impact our business. And what we have heard from HSBC in terms of transition of staff, transition of customers, we expect this actually to be a smooth transition. So we don't expect any major impact for our business. But of course, we're working very, very closely with our partners to make sure that their customers and our bank assurance customers are always well serviced and protected the whole time. The third question is, yes, we do pay performance-based bonuses to HSBC. Of course, it's performance-based, so we pay this on a local basis in Malaysia, but there are also performance triggers on a regional basis, because the relationship with HSBC here is a local relationship, but it is based on a regional relationship that the colleagues from Singapore have closed with the colleagues of HSBC regionally, and I must say a very, very attractive partnership. With that, I would like to close and hand over to Sigek to take question number 22. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. So, question number one, we talk about the meeting allowances. Yes, the answer is yes. We pay meeting allowance to our independent directors who are attending the general meetings. Question number two, we talk about cost saving for conducting this virtual AGM compared to the rest of the AGM in the past 2 years. Our answer is yes. We have a cost saving of about 38% as compared to the physical AGM that hold in 2019, and a saving of about 45% as compared to the last year's AGM. The third question is talk about the minutes. Yes, the answer is yes. We upload our minutes in our corporate website, and the minutes does not disclose any personal particulars of the participant. Next question, please. Question number 1, 2, 3 is about the voucher, either it's food voucher or e-voucher for attending this meeting. The answer is the company is not giving any voucher for attending this meeting, but definitely we will take note of your suggestions. Thank you very much. I hand it to Charles.
I think there are some more questions coming in. Okay. This question regarding a future plan, I think we won't repeat that. I think the two CEO have shared with you the plan for the next 2 to 3 years. Yeah, I think we'll continue to compete well. we'll do the best that we can. Yeah. So we will not. I think we will not repeat that. This the answer for this. Yeah. Next question, please. I hope that's all right. Okay, this question again is 17. Yeah, I think I have already shared. I think we just now there was already a question on the 17. We are on track in our implementations. And regarding the products that we sell, yes, we are selling a lot of protection business, which is actually also very good under the 17 basis. The profit will emerge quite well, under the 17. We will share with you the results when it comes closer. We still need to validate the numbers. We still have to look into our position papers, clear with our auditors. So we have up to 2023, but it will take a bit more time that when it comes. Yeah. Okay. So next question, please. Yeah, dividend payout ratio. Just now we have already mentioned our minimum payout ratio is 30%. We want to maintain this consistent return, subject to regulators' approval. Yes, we hope that we can actually do better. Yeah. So this is we will continue to work on that, but we will have to retain some dividends. Okay, to fund our business expansion. If there's any good opportunity, good organic growth, we have to keep some of this dividend to build the business. Yeah. Next, please. Yeah, we declare interim dividends. One of the main reasons we always try to do it using the third quarter results. Yeah, because the dividends from the subsidiary, the holding company received the dividends from the insurance subsidiary, which is the Allianz General and Allianz Life. Okay, and we need to have a proper procedures. That means there is an interim review by the external auditors. We have to submit our application, okay, to central bank for approval, and therefore we actually so-called do it on so-called once a year basis. But we will take note whether we can actually declare it together with any quarterly profits. Yeah, but this is currently our plan is we declare once a year as an interim dividends, using the third quarter results. Yeah. Next, please. Okay, we have shared with you just now, new business-wise, we are impacted by, for life side, impacted by COVID. Yeah, I think you have seen the numbers. But on the GWP, we actually still posted a good growth. One of the main reasons is we have, as Joe has shared with you, we have a good in-force business. Yeah, we have strong, we saw our business, our in-force life business, see a very strong persistency. We have good in-force management. This is actually to make sure that we continue to collect all this premium for our business. And the products that is all the in-force business in our protection investment link business, universal life saving business, all this regular premium, as what Joe has actually shared with you, we focus on selling regular premium business. Single premium are mainly from the bank assurance business. Yeah. So regular premium, make sure that we have a strong in-force management. I think next question, please. Yep, 2021 this year, first quarter, we saw the interest rate rebounds. I have actually briefed you all just now when in my profit analysis. Yeah, in 2019, 2020, interest rate drop, we book in almost 100 million of fair value gain. And in 2021, when interest rate rebound, we book in the fair value loss. So total profit, you saw that the life side, it has actually dropped. But we have you can see that in our analysis posted in our website. We actually share that. Look into the core profit. I think the core profit remained quite intact in 2021 for the life business. Next, please. Yeah, because included in this net operating cash flow are investment activities. Investment activity is part of our insurance business. Basically means that we will have a maturity, we have a proceed from the sales, but we actually use those money to buy back the investment. So you will see that the operating cash flow was negative, but we maintain a very strong cash position in our cash flow, which you can see that in our annual reports. Okay, so it's mainly due to investment activities, that resulted in that negative cash flow in net operating cash. Yes, we hope we can maintain this 30%, but this 30% is subject to a couple of things. Regulator approving the subsidiaries dividend. That's number one. We have to satisfy all the regulations, all the regulatory requirements. And thirdly, we will set aside appropriate money to fund our group's expansion over the next 3 years. So these are our parameters, and hope that we can maintain a minimum 30% payout ratio. Next question, please. Changes of this question is about low interest rate environment. Is always challenging. Yes, it's true for our business. Low interest rate environment, it has impacted. In fact, it will impact our asset side. It will also impact the liability side, both sides of our balance sheet. But one of the things is that we must have the discipline to make sure that we have a discipline in our investment. So we must adopt a long-term investment approach, and our approach, of course, continue is to make sure that we can satisfy the regulatory capitals requirement, the risk tolerance levels. These are all part of our business. What we can tolerate, what the risk we can take, what are the regulatory capital requirement. All this is to make sure that we have an investment strategy that can maintain a substantial part of our money is actually in the fixed income with a stable stream of investment income. And managing our asset liability matching is also very important for us. So to overcome the low interest rate environment, we must have a strong investment discipline. Next, please. The breakdown, our asset class breakdown, briefly I will share with you. MGS, government guarantee bond is about 50%, corporate bonds is about, and debts is about 27%, a very small exposure, about 4% of unit trust. Total investment equity is about 13%, fixed deposit is about 5%. You can see that in our annual reports. Go to the page 185, you will see the details. How we invest our asset allocations, okay, for the life side. Mainly, we look into each of the funds, and each of the funds we have a mandates. Okay, how we actually invest our assets. So for customer monies, that for example like investment link, universal life, and the par funds. We have a special mandates that to make sure that we invest and allocate our asset in accordance to meet the objective of our investment. Okay, for the general insurance side, mainly we are on the fixed income side, fixed income investment on the fixed income. Next, please. I'll pass on to
Yeah, I
Zikri.
think Charles, I'll tell you. Yeah. Okay. Question is about why is our non-motor business, why did our non-motor business decline last year? Okay. Number one reason is basically it's the pandemic. It hit us early part of the year. First of all, the whole travel insurance book went away because nobody was traveling, so nobody renewed their annual travel insurance and nobody bought per trip travel insurance. One. Okay. Secondly, projects like engineering projects, there were basically no new projects. Existing projects also basically were stalled, so there was not very much premiums coming from engineering insurance. And one sector that was really badly affected was marine because supply chain disruption, people were not able to sell or export or import goods and stuff like that. So marine insurance also was affected. So this basically three parts of the non-motor were quite badly affected, and as a result of that, we lost some business. However, we launched a lot of small retail products, mainly in the area of fire. So although premiums are not big, but we gained 5% more customers in our fire portfolio, which is good. So we're selling small, smart retail, Shield, Allianz business. So the small businesses for the SMEs, there is some take up from our customers, quite encouraging, and so they are buying, so it's good. So number of customers actually grew in the fire portfolio last year, which is very encouraging. Next question. How is general insurance pricing being carried out? Okay. Well, this is a topic of a seminar. Anyway, we'll try to give you a very short answer. First of all, in this country, 78% or rather 80% of the business is tariff. Motor and fire is determined by a tariff. So we don't really price it. We open a book and the book tells us what the price is. So it's basically governed by Bank Negara. And so, yeah. Well, but on a general basis, how we do pricing is, first of all, not to get technical, we get basically a burning cost, which is basically the loss history of a particular portfolio. And then that gives you a general idea of how profitable a portfolio is. Then we add on commission and expenses, and then that's how we come up with a particular pricing. Of course, individual characteristics of clients are important. Clients, well-kept factory, fire extinguishers, things like this are factors that are taken into consideration when we do this pricing. Okay. Next question. Joe, you want to do this?
Yes, so thank you very much for the question. Will we venture into Takaful in the future? I think that's a very good question. I think strategically it's clear that Takaful is a market segment which is attractive for the life business. We continue to be very interested in that segment. The government is not issuing new Takaful licenses, so that is closed for the moment. Of course, we're in permanent dialogue with government and with Bank Negara on this topic. And should any other opportunities in the marketplace evolve in terms of partnerships and any access to Takaful licenses or opportunities, we will be very actively looking to see whether and if and how we can participate. So short answer is yes, strategically very important. Yes, our radar screens are fully open on this one. Next question, please. Yes, I think this is a very fair question. It's about the purchase power of people in the pandemic. And yes, of course, the people's income will be affected and is affected, of course, by COVID, depending on which demography on different and varying degrees. And yes, value for money or price
what are you getting for your money, I think will be definitely a much more important factor moving ahead. Now, having said that, in counterbalance to, let me say, this value for money pressure, you see, of course, also the appreciation for protection and for healthcare and medical coverage for yourself and your loved ones is, of course, increasing substantially because of the COVID crisis, because people recognize the importance of having a good coverage, of having a good service, of having a company that really covers their back when it comes to health. So we see this as something which is, it has its downwards pressures, which is the value for money pressure, but it also has its upside momentum given the sensitivity. So I think on an ALM side, we'll continue to stay the course in terms of providing the customers with good, hopefully outstanding services, paying the claims, easing the way of how they do business with us, as I was talking about on digitalization, improving the quality of our agents, working with banca partners, etc. But having said that, I think we will also look into newer alternative or innovative ways of looking at healthcare. And looking also, I was talking about new market penetrations, right, about customer access. We will be looking also at alternative product bundles as we move ahead into the next months and years. Next question, please. Yeah, I think I had alluded to this one already in a previous session about HSBC. In a snapshot, we do not see a major impact towards our business and partnership with HSBC, but we're working very, very closely with HSBC as they operationalize the transition. And our biggest interest is, of course, customers who are affected by any branch closure, that they're well treated, well transitioned over, and that we can continue to service them at the highest level. But otherwise, operationally, we do not see a major impact of the HSBC revised strategy in Malaysia. I'll hand over to Sugek for the next question, I think.
Thank you, Joe. Question is, how much does the company spend on the virtual meetings? We spend about roughly about 61,000 to put this meeting fully virtual. Sid, thank you.
Okay, so I will take this question on how does digitalization and online community compare against competitors. Difficult to judge. I will not have the arrogance to say that we're better than competitors because I don't like to do that. I will say that we always strive to be the best in what we do and to deliver the best. And we look very much also actually in what's the best in our Allianz community, right? So the benefit of Allianz Malaysia is we're part of a global family. So we're part of a regional family and we're part of a global family. So we can be very, very inspired by what other countries are doing and other operating entities are doing, or other Allianz entities in Asia, but also globally. And that is actually where we, number one, import best practices from other countries. That's the power of being part of a global company like Allianz. But vice versa, also we benchmark how good are we in our digitalization efforts in the region or even globally. And there, I think I can say with confidence that we are doing well. Again, no arrogance. We're not doing better than other Allianz entities. But I think Malaysia is quite innovative and quite fast. And I speak for the general and the life side on this. If I compare that to the internal Allianz benchmarks and other Allianz entities, and given that Allianz is one of the most successful insurance companies in the world, I will rest assured that this benchmark is a good benchmark. Thank you. I think, Sigek, this is the last question that we received, so I could hand over to Mr. Go. Is that correct?
Yes, Joe. Over to you, Mr. Go.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Joe. Thanks, okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of time, I would like to conclude the question and answer session for the meeting today. For those questions which have yet to be answered, we will respond to your questions within 14 working days. As informed earlier, the voting at this meeting will be conducted by poll. Shareholders and proxies were allowed to submit their votes online right after the commencement of this meeting. Thus, in order to facilitate the shareholders and proxies who have yet to cast their votes, we will now allow 10 minutes for the conduct of online voting. Shareholders and proxies, please proceed to cast your vote by referring to the online voting procedures as displayed on your screen, and the voting session shall end at 12:50. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for casting your votes. I hereby declare the voting session closed. With this, we shall adjourn the meeting for about 25 minutes for votes counting and verification. The meeting is expected to resume at 1:15 for declaration of the polling results, and we will see you back then.
It's been a tough, long year, and nothing's ever clear. But somewhere out in the night, there's a little bit of light.
正义慢慢肆无尽头，逆风之下继续往前走，一起越过所有阻碍，不放弃我们维护现在。
Look around the world, we see people are still struggling. Let's come together and walk through side by
We're
side.
here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care.
What goes around comes around like a hula hoop. Life சுத்தி சுத்தி கொண்டு போகும் உன்னை தினமும் மழை வரும் முன்னே கொடை இருக்கணும் பக்கம் இருட்டான உலகத்தில் வெளிச்சத்தை நாம் அமைச்சுக்கணும். தனியாக போராட்டம் தேவை இன்று இல்லை நண்பா, தனிமையில் நம் தவிக்க இனிமேல் வேண்டாமட்டா. கவலை வேண்டாம், கை கொடுக்கும் இந்த கூட்டம். Listen, yes we care, take my hands, don't you worry, that's the
Look
mission.
around
Yeah.
the world, we see
The world.
people are still struggling.
There's no need to suffer, man.
Let's come together and walk through side by
We're
side.
here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. Damaikan hati yang lara, mengundi salah, semangat api membara, bawa bersama kemana jua, hadapi dugaan, walau ada halangan apa jua rintangan.
Usah kau gusar, yang suram jangan dikenang. Harus sedia teguh, walau bukan senang. Hari suram pasti bakal cerah teguh bersama siang dan malam. Demi esok, ayo kita lupakan yang semalam.
We can make a change.
No, it's not too late.
部分我和你爱让世界痊愈。
We can make a change.
No, it's not too late.
If we show we care, we all will be okay.
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all.
If we take a stand, we all will be okay.
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care.
Together we can be.
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care.
大家好，我的名字叫做 Jessie， 我来自沙劳越。那么最近我有幸参与了翻来呢这个工作，很高兴透过这个工作能够看到马来西亚的各个种族之间能够团结一致的来面对 COVID 这个问题。那么本身也相信，只要我们继续同心协力，我们必定能一起度过这次这个难关。
The world has changed. Amidst the tough times and the uncertainties, we will continue moving forward. With masks and physical distancing, we stayed close online, uplifting each other's spirit while in the comfort of home. When we are able to go out again, we will continue to embrace the new norms, keep our distance, and protect our friends and colleagues. We are not yet at the finish line, and with frontliners battling for all of us, sacrificing more than we could even imagine, our support becomes vital. We are all in this together. Let's not take it for granted. As long as we persevere and strictly adhere to the SOPs, we can defeat the pandemic together. Let's continue to stand tall in these unprecedented times. All for one, together as anak-anak Malaysia.
It's been a tough, long year, and nothing's ever clear. But somewhere out in the night, there's a little bit of light.
正义慢慢肆无尽头，逆风之下继续往前走，一起越过所有阻碍，不放弃我们维护现在。
Look around the world, we see people are still struggling. Let's come together and walk through side by side.
Here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care.
What goes around comes around like a hula hoop. Life சுத்தி சுத்தி கொண்டு போகும் உன்னை தினமும் மழை வரும் முன்னே கொடை இருக்கணும் பக்கம் இருட்டான உலகத்தில் வெளிச்சத்தை நாம் அமைச்சிக்கணும். தனியாக போராட்டம் தேவை இன்று இல்லை நண்பா, தனிமையில் நம் தவிக்க இனிமேல் வேண்டாமட்டா. கவலை வேண்டாம், கை கொடுக்கும் இந்த கூட்டம். Listen, yes we care, take my hands, don't you worry, that's the
Look
mission.
around the world, we see
The world.
people are still struggling.
There's no need to suffer, man.
Let's come together and walk through side by
We're
side.
here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. Damaikan hati yang lara, menundi salah, semangat api membara, bawa bersama kemana jua, hadapi dugaan, walau ada halangan apa jua rintangan.
Usah kau gusar, yang suram jangan dikenang. Harus sedia teguh, walau bukan senang. Hari suram pasti bakal cerah teguh bersama siang dan malam. Demi esok, Ayo kita lupakan yang semalam.
We can make a change.
No, it's not too late. 不分我和你，爱让世界痊愈。
We can make a change.
No, it's not too late. If we show we care, we all will be okay.
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all.
If we take a stand, we all will be okay.
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Let our lives to love. Together we can show we can.
Together we can be
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Let our lives to love. Together we can show we can.
大家好，我的名字叫做 Jessie， 我来自沙劳越。那么最近我有幸参与了翻来呢这个工作，很高兴透过这个工作能够看到马来西亚的各个种族之间能够团结一致的来面对 COVID 这个问题。那么本身也相信，只要我们继续同心协力，我们必定能一起度过这次这个难关。
The world has changed. Amidst the tough times and the uncertainties, we will continue moving forward. With masks and physical distancing, we stayed close online, uplifting each other's spirit while in the comfort of home. When we are able to go out again, we will continue to embrace the new norms, keep our distance, and protect our friends and colleagues. We are not yet at the finish line, and with frontliners battling for all of us, sacrificing more than we could even imagine, our support becomes vital. We are all in this together. Let's not take it for granted. As long as we persevere and strictly adhere to the SOPs, we can defeat the pandemic together. Let's continue to stand tall in these unprecedented times. All for one, together as anak-anak Malaysia.
It's been a tough, long year, and nothing's ever clear. But
but somewhere out in the night, there's a little bit of light.
正义慢慢肆无尽头，逆风之下继续往前走，一起越过所有阻碍，不放弃我们维护现在。
Look around the world, we see people are still struggling. Let's come together and walk through side by
We're
side.
here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little lights of love, together we can show we care. We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little lights of love, together we can show we care.
What goes around comes around like a hula hoop. Life சுத்தி சுத்தி கொண்டு போகும் உன்னை தினமும் மழை வரும் முன்னே கொடை இருக்கணும் பக்கம் இருட்டான உலகத்தில் வெளிச்சத்தை நாம் அமைச்சிக்கணும். தனியாக போராட்டம் தேவை இன்று இல்லை நண்பா, தனிமையில் நம் தவிக்க இனிமேல் வேண்டாமட்டா. கவலை வேண்டாம், கை கொடுக்கும் இந்த கூட்டம். Listen, yes we care, take my hands, don't you worry, that's our
Look
mission.
around
Yeah.
the world, we see
The world.
people are still struggling.
Don't need to suffer, man.
Let's come together and walk through side by
We're
side.
here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little lights of love, together we can show we care. We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little lights of love, together we can show we care. Damaikan hati yang lara, menundi salah, semangat api membara, bawa bersama kemana jua, hadapi dugaan, walau ada halangan apa jua rintangan. We care.
Usah kau gusar, yang suram jangan dikenang. Harus sedia teguh, walau bukan senang. Hari suram pasti bakal cerah teguh bersama siang dan malam. Demi esok, ayo kita lupakan yang semalam.
We can make a change.
No, it's not too late.
不分我和你，爱让世界痊愈。
We can make a change.
No, it's not too late.
If we show we care, we all will be okay.
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all.
If we take a stand, we all will be okay.
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little lights of love, together we can show we care.
Together we can be
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little lights of love, together we can show we care. 大家好，我的名字叫做 Jessie， 我来自沙劳越。那么最近我有幸参与了翻来呢这个工作，很高兴透过这个工作能够看到马来西亚的各个种族之间能够团结一致的来面对 COVID 这个问题。那么本身也相信，只要我们继续同心协力，我们必定能一起度过这次这个难关。
The world has changed. Amidst the tough times and the uncertainties, we will continue moving forward. With masks and physical distancing, we stayed close online, uplifting each other's spirit while in the comfort of home. When we are able to go out again, we will continue to embrace the new norms, keep our distance, and protect our friends and colleagues. We are not yet at the finish line, and with frontliners battling for all of us, sacrificing more than we could even imagine, our support becomes vital. We are all in this together. Let's not take it for granted. As long as we persevere and strictly adhere to the SOPs, we can defeat the pandemic together. Let's continue to stand tall in these unprecedented times. All for one, together as anak-anak Malaysia.
It's been a tough, long year, and nothing's ever clear. But somewhere out in the night, there's a little bit of light.
正义慢慢肆无尽头，逆风之下继续往前走，一起越过所有阻碍，不放弃我们维护现在。
Look around the world, we see people are still struggling. Let's come together and walk through side by side.
To be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care.
What goes around comes around like a hula hoop. Life is சுத்தி சுத்தி கொண்டு போகும் உன்னை தினமும் மழை வரும் முன்னே கொடை இருக்கணும் பக்கம் இருட்டான உலகத்தில் வெளிச்சத்தை நாம் அமைச்சிக்கணும். தனியாக போராட்டம் தேவை இன்று இல்லை நண்பா, தனிமையில் நம் தவிக்க இனிமேல் வேண்டாமட்டா. கவலை வேண்டாம், கை கொடுக்கும் இந்த கூட்டம். Listen, yes we care, take my hands, don't you worry, that's our
Look
mission.
around
Yeah.
the world, we see
The world.
people are still struggling.
There's no need to suffer, man.
Let's come together and walk through side by
We're
side.
here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who fall, who got nothing at all. Little acts of love, together we can show we care. Damaikan hati yang lara, menundi salah, semangat api membara, bawa bersama kemana jua, hadapi dugaan, walau ada halangan apa jua rintangan.
Usah kau gusar, yang suram jangan dikenang. Harus sedia teguh, walau bukan senang. Hari suram pasti bakal cerah teguh bersama siang dan malam. Demi esok, ayo kita lupakan yang semalam.
We can make a change.
No, it's not too late.
部分我和你爱让世界痊愈。
We can make a change.
No, it's not too late.
If we show we care, we all will be okay.
We're here to be a helping hand to the ones who
家好，我的名字叫做 Jessie， 我来自沙劳越。那么最近我有幸参与了翻来呢这个工作，很高兴透过这个工作能够看到马来西亚的各个种族之间能够团结一致的来面对 COVID 这个问题。那么本身也相信，只要我们继续同心协力，我们必定能一起度过这次这个难关。
Ladies and gentlemen, the votes counting and verification process have been completed, and we shall resume the meeting now for the declaration of the poll results. The results of the poll are depicted on the screen. Based on the results, I shall declare all ordinary resolutions as tabled at today's meeting be carried. Ladies and gentlemen, I now declare the meeting closed. Thank you for your participation today, and stay safe, everyone. Thank you.